You'll see a moderate outward curving of the upper spine. You'll see a moderate inward curving of the lower spine. Kyphosis, lordosis. Now, when you sit down, rub here, stand tall so your head is close to the ceiling, and take your hand and rub the inward curve with your hand. Feel up and down. Feel the rate of curve. Now, when you sit down, sit from the legs, but continue standing from the hips. It's the same as standing when you practice from then on. Doesn't that feel the same? Sure. But stay tall so that you're up there. You know what I mean? High. Especially till you get used to it. You know what I mean? There could be some fatigue at first. But the whole point is to line the vertebral column up, just as though you were standing yourself. In other words, nature has us equipped where we can take the greatest movements of breath in the standing posture. This is where you'd run or fight for your life. In other words, it's a biological phenomenon having nothing to do with trombone playing, but in the basic biological sense, and you were a caveman and you got a big cave there after you, you're going to be able to do better breathing while you're running for your life and get away from that cave than if you're sitting like this, you know what I mean? What it is simply the alignment of the vertebral column. You know, the vertebrae are not absolutely straight up and down. You have little curves where the upper vertebrae will just move very slightly out of line. Then you have an inward curving in the lower region, the lumbar region of the spine. And out of each vertebrae comes two ribs. These ribs actually rotate on a what would I say, the way they're attached to the vertebrae, they will have a specific axis of rotation. In other words, they're curved like my arm. If we were to think of the 8th or 9th rib, you could see with imagination that's a rib. Here's two of them. If I lower my hands this way, here's two ribs. The distance between back and front and side to side is comparatively small. Now as I raise it, they rotated laterally. They spread apart. The distance from back to front is much greater than side to side. When I'm out of breath and it's down here, it's much less. That can only happen if the spinal column is just right, because they rotate on an axis depending on where the vertebrae is. If you change the angle of your vertebrae, you change the angle of rotation of the rib cage. Your diaphragm's attached in this region, and in the posterior, the back should be down in this region. It's a tilted muscle. These ribs are low in front and high in back. It's like an X, like drawing an X. The lines just cross each other there. Get that nice posture by standing, by being tall while you're seated. Relax your muscles to be just as comfortable as standing.